Okay, this video is for any of you budding entrepreneurs out there, anybody who wants to start a business, or maybe you've got a, teenage daughter or son and you want to help them start a business. So this is going to be the video for you. You're under 25, you can start any of these 7 businesses for less than $25,000. Okay, so we got all these businesses up here. We're going to talk about that today. It's going to be a fun video. I also got a cool video to show you within this video about another entrepreneur and sort of like how he thought about conceptualizing the business. It's an often talked about subject because you've got parents who want to help their kids. Maybe they're already entrepreneurs and they're like, hey, what's a great one today to start? But the key here is these businesses are scalable. Okay. So when I'm going through these, I'm going to show you like every one of these businesses right here, you can scale. And if your son or daughter's, fortunate, lucky, has a lot of grit, can turn this literally into a lifelong business. All of these could be started, I think, by say a 16-year-old with some help, 18, 19 is better. And then, anywhere in that, college age as well. And I think they can be done when you're in college. So this is for young adults and also parents with kids. We're going to get into it. Okay. So before I get going here, a little bit about myself. My name's Luke Peters. I started my company in 2001, grew it to about 80 million, and then ended up selling to private equity. So that's my journey, and it had a wonderful life changing sale. And it's sort of the pinnacle of running a business is being able to find a buyer. And now I am helping other entrepreneurs. So in this video, we're going to talk about businesses. I have kids, so I'm looking for businesses for my kids, right? Let's jump into it. Actually, before we jump into it, well, I'll go through this really quickly and kind of tell you how I kind of came up with this image here. What we're looking at is, let's go through the 7 different ideas first. You got content creation. Okay. So here, this could be a YouTube channel, right? Why not? Kids love YouTube. So it could be a YouTube channel or social media, something like that. And then I kind of go through the difficulty and then your investment costs. Digital products. So this could be obviously, a course, something like that. These can be difficult because you have to sort of build a brand before somebody buys from you. So it could definitely take longer than the 1 to 2 years. Private label products. This is sort of easier on the difficulty level, as you notice, because it's a little bit more investment. You find a supplier and you're buying a product where you can put your logo on it, right? And so you're going to have some control over the competition, right? You're not going to be subject to 1,000 other businesses selling the same exact product that you're selling. So that's private label, a niche e-commerce store. That's where you're going really, really niche. You're selling other people's products though. Okay. So it's easy, and it's less to start, but maybe you have less runway. A digital marketing agency. Listen, a lot of kids are good at marketing. Start doing work for other people. It's probably the easiest here on the difficulty level. Subscription-based business. Find something that they can keep buying. Obviously, think of razors, right? But what do kids have today that maybe they could turn into a subscription-based business and then specialized education? So maybe there's a way to scale tutoring, scale teaching. Maybe video really well. You're going to teach video. Maybe you're a gym rat and you have a fitness routine that you want to teach. So again, difficult because you have to earn the credibility, okay, but cheap to start. So let's jump into this video here. I thought this is kind of interesting. So check this out, all right?
A business, what do? You have to come up with an idea. Now, this can be done in multiple parts. For the sake of this video, I'm going to take you through a business that I'm actually starting right now that I literally went through all of these processes, and it's a brand new business, not Beyond Braid, the other business I was talking about. When you're coming up with an idea, it can be a product that you want to come up with or just a cool brand in a specific niche that you already know about. So for example, I'm starting a pickleball brand. I started playing pickleball for the past 6 months, and I saw that, hey, this sport is growing. It'd probably be a good...
Okay, so notice he picked a growing trend. I always say, this is super obvious concept, okay, but people don't do it. It's like you want to be going downstream. You want to be in the river going downstream. You've got momentum. You're being pulled along by the industry, so to say. So pickleball is sort of a new phenomenon, right? It's like rising. So you're part of something that's getting bigger. The pie is getting bigger. Your slice of that pie is going to grow over time. So those are the areas you want to be in, where the trends are, follow the trend, follow the puck, that type of thing. And then the other part I liked is it's very niche, very, very niche. So he can, own a significant portion potentially if he does it right.
good idea to get into this business somehow. And then one day I was sitting in my office and I was just like thinking of names for a potential pickleball business. And I thought of this name, Professor Pickleball. That sounded super good. But what I also thought of was, hey, I can market this in a very unique way. I can brand myself as a character called Professor Pickleball and teach people lessons and come up with cool concepts and paddles. So I came up with this general idea of the actual brand before looking at specific products. And you could do this either way, right? You can look at specific products first and then come up with the brand name later. But generally, you have to come up with an idea of a business or a brand or a product that you want to sell. And I would say the easiest way to identify this is just look at stuff that you're already doing, hobbies that you already like, things that you're already interested in. Like I'm interested in fishing. I've been fishing my whole life. That's why I grew this fishing brand to almost $10 million in sales.
So anyways, yeah, I really like Ryan's take on that. You can check out the whole video there after you watch this one. But the idea there, and he kind of takes you through how he started the brand. But that's just private label products. That's what he's talking about here. But the thing is, what I liked about that clip that you can apply to your business idea. And again, everybody's going to have different intentions. You could be just a young adult in college watching this, or you're someone my age, you got kids, and you're thinking about their future, right? One of my children, she started a digital product, okay? And it was so hard for her the first couple of years, but now she's crushing it 3 years in. So it's one of those things where when you start something like this, you have to understand, like, this is going to be a grind for year 1 and 2 probably. But the idea with this list is, kids can do these ideas and the cost is low. So let's go a little bit deeper on them. Okay. Content creation. You're going to be a YouTube star. It's hard. I'm doing it right now. And, even just getting subscribers is difficult. On LinkedIn, I have a lot more success because that's a platform. Like I said, I run a company for 20 years. I've got a lot of connections and friends and so on and so forth. So LinkedIn is kind of better for me. And so if you're into gaming or you're into some other type of content or, YouTube type stuff or TikTok, find the platform that suits you. The thing is, the digital creation, most people think of just ad revenue and they're going to, if they get this many views, they're going to make this much money. The problem is typically doesn't work out that well. There's not enough money to be made. And what happens is most people parlay this brand into products. Okay. So you're going right into private label products. So I sort of like the content creation with private label. Do it at the same time. It takes a while to build your brand. You got to be in it for 2 years at least. You can't quit because it takes a while to kind of push through. And so digital products, is there some sort of digital course that you can create? I mean, these are maybe the best way to go if you can get there, right? There's no cost of goods sold really. The startup cost is so low. The difficulty, as you see, is higher, right? Because in order for your digital product to succeed, you do have to build customer trust. You have to sort of have your list, right? Your email list, your social media, whatever it might be. And if you don't have that, it's going to be hard to sell a digital product. So really, maybe this time to scale, it might be even more than the 1 to 2 years. It might be, 2 to 4 years, something like that. Private label products, that's the lowest one, the easiest. Well, I guess along with the marketing agency is, I guess, easier. But, private label products is you slapping your label on a product. Now, one level up is you're designing a product. That's going to cost more. I mean, typically it might cost more than you're seeing over here. You got to buy inventory. You got to have logistics. You have to either ship it yourself or find a 3PL to ship it. But I guarantee if it does work, you can make the quickest money here within as long as you have the funding, because you don't have to take the time to build your personal brand. Now you got to build a product brand, but sometimes, if you have something unique enough and you market it well, you could start getting sales really quickly, within the first year easily and potentially start making some money. The key thing is with private label products is you have to have great margins. Now, remember, we're not talking about drop shipping. Drop shipping is just selling someone else's product. You have no control. Your margins are lower. So you're going private label. It's your product. If you're selling a wallet, it's your wallet brand that you're going to sell. It's not just somebody else's. You're going to design it how you want it. And this can be done. And you can do this right here in America. And you can start small. And you can have another job when you do this, by the way, right? That's the idea. This is something you do in your extra time. And that's why, thinking about for your kids, it's sort of an exciting thing to think about. It doesn't mean they have to drop everything. They can go to school, they can have a job. You do this a couple hours a week, but you learn the process. You got to go call the suppliers. Then you got to get the product. Then you got to, learn about marketing and building a website and doing all those types of things. And of course, you could make videos just on this. But when I started my company, we were 100% direct to consumer. So this is what we did. So that's sort of my area is the private label products. And I'm doing that again right now, actually, too. I can't share the product because there's just some trademark stuff I have to finish up, but maybe on this channel or another one, I'll be talking about that in a couple months. So niche e-commerce store. So very similar, but you're just niching down. It's not your stuff. Okay, it's drop ship. It's not ideal, but that's an opportunity as well. Digital marketing agency. We talked about this earlier. So if somebody's got a passion for social media, they're quick about branding, or also maybe if your child or you have a good sense of style, like a digital marketing agency is a great potential business. Okay, and the thing here is like almost no startup. You get clients. You get good results with the clients and you build a business around that. And over the course of a couple of years, what turns out as like a college job can turn into literally a great business. And digital marketing agencies are great businesses. You're going to have high margins. You're not going to have a lot of overhead except for people. It's low risk. You're not going to be stuck with inventory or something like that, like you would in a private label products business. So it's a great type of business, and it's literally the easiest one to start on this list. Subscription-based business. These are difficult. Think of razors or something like that people are using all the time, but there's always new ideas. That could be related to food, or many, many other things. And so, again, this could be a little bit more costly to start up your subscription related business. The reason you might want to look at this is because these are going to have higher multiples. If you can actually build a real business and sell it, you will get a nice multiple with a subscription business. It's a great one to look at. And then finally, specialized education. Okay, what if you're a trainer, a gym rat? We talked about this earlier. You're a math tutor. Doing tutoring isn't really scalable, but if you turn this into some sort of educational business, you're doing it online and, it's not scalable. What I mean is if you're using your time only, it's not scalable. So when you start, you're using your time. But as it grows, if you can bring other people into the fold, now you're not the tutor, you're the business owner, and you bring in the tutors, or of course, that's sort of a competitive space. But just as an example, you have, music teachers, tutors, other skills that are being taught. Probably even sports and fitness and all these different areas. So specialized education is very difficult, right? Because you got to make a name for yourself. Someone's got to trust you, and it can take a while. Doesn't cost a lot, but it sort of goes hand in hand with the content creation. You're building a brand, and then you're selling your education. It could be, it's very close to sort of digital products like courses, right? But this is typically some sort of skill or something like that you're teaching. So I'd say it's like neck and neck with digital products. So anyways, this is kind of a fun chart that I have here. I got a more in-depth one that I might do a video on down the road. But just wanted to give you guys something to think about. If you got some value out of this, I'd love to hear in the comments, which have you tried? If you have kids, which would you, push your child or help your child into? If you have other ideas that I left off this, let me know in the comments, and subscribe. Really appreciate it as I'm trying to build out this channel. You can check me out on LinkedIn as well. And if you have a business and you're stuck or you need some help on your business, go ahead and check out my website over at apexceo.co. Just find the calendar. I offer 15-minute free strategy sessions. So those are fun. We always go over 15 minutes, but share some business stories. Maybe I can help you out on a thing or two. It's just fun to connect on a business level. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for making it to the end here. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.